Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Today I'm in this 2011 Volvo V60. I bought this car a couple of weeks ago and I thought I've got to do a video with it because, to be honest with you, I'd never heard of the V60. I've had loads of V70s, plenty of V40s, but yeah, I didn't even know the V60 existed. I've been struggling to think of reasons why you might buy a V60. Surely if you want a big Volvo estate car, you just buy a V70. So where exactly does the V60 fit? Firstly, if you buy a Volvo estate car, it's because you want a big boot for all those trips to Maxi and IKEA. But a big boot isn't something that the V60 offers. I mean, it's an alright size, but nowhere near as big as the V70. The boot space of a similar age V70 is 815 litres, whereas the V60 only offers 557. Quite a big difference, really. And I know what you're thinking. You're going to be thinking, well, yeah, but I don't really want to drive around in a massive V70 that's the same length as an aircraft carrier. Well, this isn't that much smaller. There's only a difference in length of 20 centimetres. One reason you might want to buy a V60 over a V70 is that the V70 does have a slightly geeky image, whereas the V60 does look far more sportier. It's like comparing your history teacher to your gym coach. This car is like a V70 in a tracksuit and trainers. It just looks more athletic. Whereas I think the V70 is bought by people who wear those glasses which automatically tint when they go near a playground. The V60 has been around since 2010 and ran until 2018. They also made a cross-country version of it with four-wheel drive, and they offered a couple of hybrids too. To drive, it's very average. It's pleasant, don't get me wrong, but it's all very forgettable, really. There are a few positives. For example, the front seats are some of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in. It feels like you sat on a cloud. And the sound system is superb. It really is excellent. The driving position's very good, as is the visibility. But in terms of handling, performance, it's all just very, very Magnolia. You could be driving a VW Passat estate or a Skoda Octavia estate. The steering's very light and a bit numb. I mean, the same is true of a V70, but at least with the V70, you get a very practical car with a huge boot. But as I drive this V60, I keep thinking to myself, you could have bought anything else, really. I mean, I'd rather have a 5 Series Tourer, or a V70 for that matter. Performance-wise, under the bonnet of this one is a 2-litre 5-cylinder turbo diesel engine which produces 163 horsepower. Which is enough, it does a reasonable job. And it's also very economical. This one will do mid-30s mpg around town, and it will touch 60 mpg on a run if you're taking it quite steady. They also offered this with a couple of 4-cylinder turbo diesel engines, one being the 1.6 Drive E model, which is very low in CO2 emissions, so it's very cheap to tax. But that 1.6 isn't the model that I'd recommend because by the time you've loaded it full of people and things, it just doesn't have any get up and go. Whereas this 5-cylinder really does. They also offered the V60 as a plug-in hybrid, which would be ideal if you live in a city centre. They also offered this with a 3-litre straight 6 petrol engine, which I'm yet to drive, but I imagine that's a blast. This one has a 6-speed manual gearbox, which is alright. It's a little bit notchy. Not the nicest gearbox to operate, to be honest, but it's alright. You could have also bought this as an automatic, which is manufactured by Aisin, which will need to be serviced every 60 or 80,000 miles. Now, given the choice, in this kind of car I would have picked the auto, but you will pay about £1,000 premium for an automatic. The model I'm in today is just an SE, but you could have bought this as an R design, which look fantastic, especially in that rebel blue colour. But I do like the styling. I mean, I like the styling of most modern Volvos, to be honest. They're not boxy like they used to be, as if they were designed using only a ruler. These are nice and curvy and stylish. I love the DRLs at the front, and I think the rear styling just looks like it's going places. I like the look of the rear lights and the exhausts. Annoyingly, for a car designed in Scandinavia, you don't get heated seats as standard. You have to specify and pay extra for the winter pack, which this one doesn't have. Which, as long-term viewers of this channel know, is a little bit of a bugbear of mine. Once you've had heated seats, there is no going back. But I do love Volvo interiors. They're just so stylish and minimalist. I love this floating centre console area here. Although in this particular model you do get this weird solitary central air vent here, which is a bit like a Cyclops. If I'm being a little bit critical, there are one too many buttons for my liking. But you can't argue with the clarity of the display. It really is very good. And also you get sat-nav, digital DAB radio. It's all a lot of car for the money, really. One slight annoyance, which is typical of Volvo from this era, is you get this comically large trigger happy TV remote, which is all a little bit unnecessary. But everything's fairly easy to operate and navigate. You get individual climate control for the driver and the passenger side, and the heater works well too. It feels like my face is on fire. you get 2 cup holders and you get a very large, very deep storage area under this centre armrest with a USB and auxiliary input too. Another benefit of the V60 is it's a very safe car, as most Volvos are. Safety is paramount. When this car was new, it was awarded 5 stars on its Euro NCAP safety rating. I think you could literally drive one of these cars off the end of Beachy Head, and when you arrive at the bottom, you'll be able to step out of it fairly unscathed. No, they are very safe cars. Prices in the UK start at around £4,000. That's going to get you on with around 150,000 miles on the clock, and that will be a 2011 model. For one like this, in a good spec with a 5-cylinder turbo diesel engine, this one's done 102,000 miles. This one will set you back around 5.5 grand. So quite a lot of car for the money, really. You need to look for one with good service records. When I bought this one, there was no evidence of the timing belt being replaced, so I ran it to my local mechanic and got the timing belt and water pump changed. That cost me just over £300, I think £320 to get that done. But it's crucial because if that snaps, your engine is toast. It might sound as if I've been a little bit harsh on the V60, but I just don't really see the point. It's like lots of other cars in the market which don't really make much sense, like a fast 4-wheel drive. But a Volvo Estate without a big boot is a little bit pointless. I do like Volvo as a brand. I think they're stylish, safe, and they're just cool. But given the choice, I think I would pass on the V60 and go for a V70. Or, to be honest, a 530 diesel Estate. I think the V60 does have quite a bit to offer, to be fair. It's very safe, very reliable, practical enough for a small family, but it's just not very good at being a Volvo Estate car. I'd rather recommend to you a Volvo XC70 or a V70. But remember, if you do buy a V70, you're going to have to invest in some corduroy trousers and some of those spectacles which automatically tint. I'm not being flippant there with that comment about Volvo owners, by the way, because I've just spotted the most Volvo owner thing to do. On the electronic handbrake down here, somebody's labelled it using one of those dyno readers. That is the most Volvo owner thing to do. So thanks once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'll leave the link below. Many of you have asked me how to get into the car business for any tips and advice, and I am starting an online course, so I'll leave the link below to that. That's been launched in January. So if you are interested in setting up your own car business, click on the link below and I'll keep you updated with all the information. So cheers guys, thanks very much. I'll see you soon.